You know how sometimes a song just hits you, like really gets you?
Oh, definitely.
It can transport you, tell a whole story, maybe without any words, or bring out some feeling you didn't even realize was there.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that Aldous Huxley quote, about music being the closest thing to expressing the inexpressible after silence.
Exactly. It really is like a universal language, isn't it? It can connect people, communicate things that are hard to put into words.
Right, that connection, that resonance. That's what we want to get into today. Because when we talk about Italian music, it's more than just tunes.
So much more.
It's like a living story of the culture. So welcome, everyone. We're doing a deep dive today into the really vibrant, constantly changing world of Italian music.
Yeah, our plan is to explore this whole musical landscape. We'll go from its really ancient roots, stuff almost forgotten, right up to the latest things happening now in 2025.
And we want to unpack what this music tells us about Italy itself. Past is present, maybe where it's heading.
And hopefully reveal some surprising connections, maybe facts about genres, artists, its cultural impact, both in Italy and internationally, too.
Well, look at how it borrows from other cultures and how they borrow from it, how it even shapes the way young people talk.
And we'll even touch on some of the really challenging experimental stuff later on.
So get ready to maybe hear Italy in a slightly different way.
Okay, so to really get a handle on today's scene, we kind of have to go back because Italy's impact on, all of Western music is just enormous.
It really is.
The roots go back thousands of years. Ancient times, music was already part of rituals, celebrations.
What I find amazing is how figures like Guido d'Arezzo basically invented musical notation, gave music its written form. That's revolutionary.
Totally.
And then Petrarca helping shape secular music like the madrigals, those beautiful vocal pieces about love and nature.
Absolutely foundational. And think about all the basic classical music terms we use: a cappella, adagio, aria, concerto, sonata.
They're all Italian.
All Italian. It just shows you Italy really was the cradle of so much musical innovation.
And it wasn't just composing, was it? Instrument making, too.
Oh, definitely. The master luthiers, Andrea Amati, Niccolo Amati, and of course, Stradivari.
Antonio Stradivari, yeah. Those instruments are still legendary.
And Bartolomeo Cristofori.
The inventor of the pianoforte. Amazing.
Right. And all this leads, quite dramatically, to Italian opera, starting in the late 16th century.
Opera wasn't just music, though. It was this huge combination of things.
Exactly. Music, theater, dance. But it was more than just combining them. It was this audacious attempt to create a whole emotional world on stage.
Laying bare the characters' inner lives through song.
Precisely. And composers like Verdi, Rigoletto, La Traviata, Aida.
Classics. And Rossini, the Barber of Seville, performed at La Scala in Milan, the iconic opera house.
That became the gold standard, really, for dramatic performance globally.
But what was it about opera that hit so deep, emotionally, beyond just the spectacle?
That's a great question. I think it's that fusion. It pushed storytelling and expressing human emotion in a way nothing had before. Think about, Puccini's Nessun Dorma.
Ah, yes. Goosebumps.
It's not just a pretty tune, is it? It's raw hope, longing. It connects instantly, regardless of language. That's the power of opera.
Okay, so opera represents that grand scale. But there's another side, right? The more everyday music, the folk traditions.
Absolutely. To really feel the heartbeat of Italy, you need to listen to its popular and folk music. It's incredibly diverse, region by region.
A mosaic of sounds, you called it.
Yeah, reflecting local customs, stories, often sung in dialects, too.
So give us some examples. What kind of regional forms are we talking about?
Oh, there are so many. You've got La Tarantella down in Campania, the super energetic Pizzica in Puglia.
Right, I've heard of those.
Then Il Saltarello in Marche, La Polca Friulana up in Friuli, Venezia, Giulia, La Bamba, yes. A version in Calabria, La Danza delle Spade in Sardinia, La Ciaramelle in Tuscany. Each region has its own distinct flavor.
And special instruments bring these sounds to life.
Definitely. Like the zamponia, the bagpipe you hear in the South, especially around Christmas.
Okay.
Or the piffero, which is sort of flute-like from the mountains, often for folk dances.
And rhythm.
The tamburello, the tambourine, basically a symbol of Southern folk music. And the tamora, a bigger frame drum, vital for energy and dances.
And the guitar, I assume.
Oh, yeah, the guitar is everywhere in folk, too. And historically, the lute, was huge back in the Renaissance.
You mentioned external influences shaping this.
Way.
Because of Italy's geography.
Exactly. Italy's location made it a crossroads. You can hear sort of Arab influences in the south, maybe Celtic touches in the north, even Slavic or Persian threads in central Italy.
How does that actually sound in the music, though? Is it obvious?
Sometimes subtly, sometimes more clearly. It's in the scales they use, the rhythmic patterns. Maybe some southern dances have rhythms that feel a bit North African, or northern melodies have a Celtic kind of lilt. The music absorbed these things and made them Italian.
Fascinating. And this was all passed down orally.
Historically, yes, generation to generation, which makes preservation efforts today really important.
Are there groups keeping it alive?
Oh, yes. Bands like Modena City Ramblers or Canzoniere Gracanico Salentino are bringing folk to new ears.
Yeah.
And composers are taking traditional tunes and arranging them in new ways, like polyphonically.
And festivals, too.
Festivals like Focused are crucial for promoting traditional music, making sure it doesn't just get preserved, but keeps living and evolving.
Okay, so from those deep roots, let's jump way forward.
Yeah.
To now, 2025. What's dominating the Italian charts? What are people listening to?
Right now, it's heavily skewed towards rap and urban music. Take Gio Lear.
I've heard the name.
He was the most streamed artist in Italy in 2024, over 1.2 billion streams. Sanremo Festival gave him a huge boost, and he's still right at the top in early 2025.
Wow, okay. Who else in that scene?
Sfera, Basta, Lassa, Tadua, they're all big names in that urban space. And very notably, Anna. Yeah, she's been the most listened to female artist for 2 years running, which is significant in a genre that's often male-dominated.
That's great to hear. And what about Italian artists making waves outside Italy?
Måneskin are still huge internationally. Third year in a row as the most listened to Italian act abroad in 2024.
Right, they really broke through globally.
And acts like Medusa, Gabri Ponte, they also have a big international following. Italian music is definitely crossing borders.
So who are the new solo artists we should be watching in 2025?
Okay, keep an eye on Angelina Mongo. Pop artist, her albums Voglia di Vivere, interesting influences Rolling Stones, Aretha Franklin, and she's from a musical family.
Talent runs deep there.
Then there's Alfa Andrea De Filippi, young rap artist, born in 2000. His tracks like Bellissimissima really connect with young listeners.
And Anna Pepe, you mentioned Anna earlier.
Different Anna. Anna Pepe, also a rapper. Her debut album, Vera Batti, was #1 for 9 weeks straight in 2024.
Impressive.
Also, look out for Settembre. Hop Indie Guy came up through The Voice and X Factor, expected at Sanremo 2025. And Alex Wise from Amici Maria De Filippi, also pop, also tipped for Sanremo. Lots of new talent bubbling up.
It's not just solo acts, though, is it? What about groups?
Right. Bostel, the indie pop group, they've got a new album, El Galactico, due April 2025, and they're even hosting their own festival.
Interesting.
Zero Assoluto pop duo celebrating 20 years with a big gig in Milan. Pinguini Tattici Nucleari, they just keep getting bigger. Indie pop with witty lyrics, doing a stadium tour, summer 2025.
And the Colors, they had that massive hit.
Italo Disco, huge. Over 80 million streams, double platinum in Italy, gold in Switzerland, and they directly credit TV talent shows like Amici for their success.
And that brings us to Il Volo.
Exactly, the classical crossover trio, also launched by TV back in 2009. They've played massive international venues like Radio City Music Hall.
So it seems like television is a really, really big deal for launching artists in Italy.
Oh, absolutely central. X Factor gave us Måneskin, Marco Mengoni, Noemi.
And Amici di Maria di Filippi launched Alessandro Amoroso, Emma Moroni, Elabudi, who's huge right now.
Plus other shows like Italia's Got Talent, Il Cantante Mascherado, Emilio Oriani, the newer Dalla Strada al Palco. They're all major platforms. It's a clear path for many aspiring artists.
It's fascinating how music really does hold up a mirror to society, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Especially how generations communicate.
Totally. And it's interesting to look at why young people listen so much. Surveys suggest it's often very functional, like to boost happiness, fight boredom on commutes, or relax when feeling down.
And it's often consumed differently now, right?
Yeah.
Less active searching.
Yeah, often described as more of a communion than a search. Just hitting play on YouTube or a streaming platform, letting it wash over you. It's subita received rather than actively sought out. For many,
The whole digital shift from record stores to constant online access has changed everything.
fundamentally, and you see this reflected so clearly in song lyrics, especially around themes like love and dating.
The contrast between generations is stark there, isn't it?
Absolutely. Think about Massimo Ranieri in 1969 singing Rose Rose. It's all polite, grand, romantic gestures, buying flowers.
Okay, classic romance.
Then fast forward to Dante in 2009 singing Beat to Me. There's a line, kind of ironic, buy yourself a bunch of flowers, then I'll give you the money.
Yeah, quite a shift, almost transactional.
Exactly.
Mm.
Or compare Pino Donaggio's 1961 Come Sinfonia, dreamy, traditional, longing for a kiss.
With Fedez's 2014 rap, Account Te.
Right. Talking about online dating, using words like account, emoticon, Skype, retweet, living romance in a sort of PC window suite.
The language itself has changed.
It's not just slang, though. It reflects a whole different way of navigating relationships, intimacy, using hashtag or account in a love song.
Yeah.
It points to maybe seeking validation online, a curated vulnerability.
And this constant connectivity, WhatsApp, social media, does it impact things?
Some argue it can create a kind of bubble of solitude, even when you're always connected. Idealized online lives, anxieties about appearance. The music taps into that reality.
So comparing Gianni Morandi in 1964 asking for a chaperoned Sunday date
To Emis Killa in 2013 rapping about meeting the parents with tattoos and a wild past.
yeah, maybe your grandparents' dating advice doesn't quite apply anymore.
Probably not. It just shows how fast social norms and the music reflecting them can change.
Okay, shifting gears a bit. Beyond pop, rap folk, there's contemporary classical music, which sounds challenging.
It definitely can be. It emerged from the rapid changes of the 20th century, what some call a crisis of language in music.
What are composers in this field trying to do?
They're often seeking really original, innovative sounds, sometimes very theatrical, moving way beyond traditional ideas of harmony and melody, consonance and dissonance, exploring sound itself.
Which must be tough for the performers, too.
Hugely. They often have to reinvent themselves, learn to read scores that look nothing like traditional notation. It's a whole different language.
And for the listener.
It usually requires effort, curiosity. It's generally not background music, not for relaxation. It demands active, engaged listening.
Which leads to that debate. Is it even music?
That debate is definitely part of the landscape. Some see it as a logical next step from, say, Beethoven, while others find it completely inaccessible, maybe even unpleasant.
Where do you land on that?
Well, whether you enjoy it or not, the innovation and thought behind it deserve respect. Think of figures like John Cage, Ligeti, Messiaen, Boulez, Stockhausen, Nonos, Xenakis. Their work requires serious study.
And this music often tackles difficult themes, reflects reality.
Very much so. It often mirrors the fierce reality of its time, globalization, technology, social conflict.
Could you give examples?
Sure. Stockhausen's Gesang der Jünglingen blends a child's voice with electronic sounds in a sacred context. Schaeffer used recorded everyday sounds, concrete music. Xenakis took a scientific mathematical approach.
Powerful stuff.
Or Penderecki's Threnody to the Victims of Hiroshima, which uses jarring sounds to evoke trauma. George Crumb's Black Angels protesting war. For many of these composers, the goal isn't necessarily beauty in the traditional sense.
It's about conveying ideas,
Yeah.
emotions, social commentary.
Exactly. Critical thought, maybe exploring the limits of sound. It might be music for the few, but it's a vital part of the musical conversation.
So for us listening, it requires maybe being open-minded, prepared to be challenged.
I think so. Understanding the context helps. You know, Beethoven's late work, The Gross Fuse, was considered baffling in its day. Now it's seen as a masterpiece. Maybe contemporary classical needs that same openness.
Let's talk about global connections now. Music as a bridge, specifically the relationship between Italian and English music.
Yeah, that's a really interesting dialogue. English music, rock, punk, rave, all of it obviously had a massive impact globally from the 60s onwards. Beatles, Stones, they changed everything.
And Italy felt that influence.
Oh, definitely. Italian artists started covering English pop and rock hits in the 60s, translating them into Italian, creating their own versions.
Were there collaborations too?
Lots of them over the years. British and Italian artists working together, blending styles. It shows how fluid music can be across borders.
And the influence went beyond just the music.
Yeah, into youth culture, fashion, even language in Italy. British styles definitely shaped trends.
But Italian music didn't just copy, did it?
No, it adapted. It took those influences, but kept its own identity, its own flavor, which ultimately made the Italian music scene richer, more diverse. It's that constant exchange that keeps things exciting.
So we've covered a lot of ground today.
We really have.
Yeah.
From, the ancient origins and classical foundations, the grandeur of opera,
Through the incredibly diverse folk traditions, region by region.
to the rap and urban sounds dominating 2025 charts. The rising stars, the power of TV.
And even into the challenging world of contemporary classical, plus that whole dialogue with English music.
It really shows how music in Italy is this living, evolving thing, always reflecting the culture, always in conversation with the world.
And mirroring those big societal shifts. We talked about how relationships, communication, even language changes over time.
So thinking about all this, the composer Luca Francesconi had this interesting reflection. He said, "We are no longer able to seek quality. Fast consumption prevails. The habit of live listening has been lost. It's all virtual. We should reappropriate the aesthetic experience."
That's quite a thought. Reappropriate the aesthetic experience.
Well, yeah.
It makes you think, doesn't it? How do you, listening now, engage with music?
Is it always just easy listening, the familiar stuff, or are you sometimes willing to step outside that?
To explore something that might challenge you, connect you in a different way, maybe deepen how you see things.
Perhaps, after hearing all this, you might try diving into a corner of Italian music you've never explored before, whether it's ancient folk, grand opera, modern rap, or even that challenging contemporary stuff.
Who knows what you might discover about Italy, about music, or maybe even about yourself. Give it a listen.